You're going to learn about language coaching. I'm going to tell you what language coaching is. I'm going to tell you why language coaching is different from teaching and how language coaching can be helpful for you to learn English fluently. This is my goal for today's session. Okay, class, can you see my screen? What is language coaching and why it is important to you? These are the topics we're going to cover. Next, why we need a language coach. What is the need? Why we need a language coach? If we want to learn to speak English or we want to write English, why do we need a language coach? We know there are coaches in cricket. We know there are coaches in martial arts. There are coaches in different industries. Even there are coaches in acting. But why do we need a language coach for English language learning? And then we're going to have a look at teacher versus coach, how a teacher and how a coach are different from each other. And afterwards, we're going to study a learning cycle. What is the learning cycle? Why people learn differently? What are the different styles people can take up and learn whatever they want to learn? And afterwards, we're going to have a look at different needs of different people. Okay, I mean, some people learn English for industry, some people learn English for personal benefits, some people learn English for other benefits. Okay, so that's why we are supposed to look at different needs. And afterwards, we are going to have a look at the coaching process, how the coaching process, language coaching process works. And finally, I'll be having your questions. And at the end of the lecture, you can ask me any questions you want. And finally, I'll be giving you a gift for you. This will be an ebook, and I will send you an ebook, and you can have a look at the ebook and learn how to learn to speak and write English correctly and fluently. So these are the few things we're going to have today. So introducing coaching, obviously language coaching. So what is language coaching? What is language coaching? Well, before we go ahead, so can you please answer these questions? I want you to text me, okay? Don't speak. I want you to text me. Is your English holding you back? And if your English is holding you back, why is that? Maybe your English is holding you back from your professional life, holding you back from your personal life, holding you back from university, from college, or holding you back from different departments and different fields. If that is the case, why is that? I want you to text me. I'm waiting for your response. Very good. Mohsin says that language is holding him back from immigration. He can't get a visa. He can't pass his IELTS test because he wants to go abroad. And language is a barrier. Language is a problem for him. Okay, what others have to say? Good. Language is holding Sonia back. She has certain dreams and she wants to fulfill those dreams. And language is holding her back from those dreams. Okay, please text. Anybody else? Okay. So what is language coaching? Throughout different years and decades, we have heard about language teaching. Whenever we wanted to learn English, we went to a teacher who taught us English, a teacher who taught us how to use grammar, how to use different expressions, and how to use different words and sentences, how to use the idioms, how to use everything. The teacher actually told us. And then it was the student's responsibility to learn whatever the teacher taught the student. Okay, so this is actually a traditional way of learning a language. But because the world has changed and people are changing, learning styles are changing, technology is coming up. So obviously all methods don't have to survive. That's the reason all over the world, people are not learning to speak English. I mean, it becomes very difficult for them to learn a new language. They can spend 3 months, they can spend 6 months, but it becomes very difficult for them to learn to speak English. Why? Because they always go to a language teacher. They know that there is language teaching that's going to help them. There is a teacher who's going to help them, but they have never, thought about language coaching. So language coaching is something different, something entirely different. So language coaching is a new individual brain-based method to improve your language. It's a brain-based method. It doesn't work on you. Language coaching doesn't work on you. Language coaching actually works on your brain. It works on your brain. And how does it work on your brain? It actually focuses on you and activates your internal positive resources. your own capabilities come up. When you are sitting in a classroom, the teacher is giving you a lot of lecture. The teacher is bearing upon you. The teacher is pressurizing you all the time when you are a student in the classroom. So what happens that your internal resources, your positive resources are suppressed. I mean, you have the capabilities to learn to speak English, learn to write English, but it becomes difficult for you because you become disappointed. Your internal states, your internal motivations, and your internal positive resources, they actually die down with the passage of time. And that's the reason people nowadays going to different language institutes, they find it very hard to learn to speak English. Almost 1% is the result, maximum 2% is the result. So a language coach is basically a catalyst. Coach does not work or bears upon you. The coach works through you. Okay, coach is a catalyst. Catalyst actually means a person through which change takes place. The coach, for example, doesn't teach you like a teacher. The coach helps you learn. Okay, the coach helps you learn. The coach doesn't teach you. Coach doesn't teach you grammar, doesn't teach you vocabulary, doesn't teach you this, doesn't teach you that. The coach is always a catalyst. It means that he is helping you to learn whatever you want to learn. But before he's going to help you, he's going to awaken your capabilities. He's going to awaken your internal positive resources. And when those resources are awakened, when you become motivated, then his teaching or his coaching brings results. So that's why we say that coach is a catalyst. So why do we need a coach? But before we think about why we need a coach, why we need a language coach, we need to understand why do we need language? Why do we learn language? People learn language for different reasons. People learn language because they want to do business. People learn language because they want to have a job, or people learn language because in our society, for example, the person who speaks English becomes a person of a higher status. A person, for example, who speaks English becomes a person of higher identity. So maybe people want to learn English. They want to tell the other people that they have a higher status. They have a higher identity. Okay, people also learn English because they need to pass their exams. People, for example, need to pass their IELTS exam. If they don't pass their IELTS exam, they can't go abroad. It becomes difficult for them. And people generally want to learn English because they want to be successful. Everybody wants to be successful. So that's actually the main reason why people. And let me tell you the latest research. A person who learns a language, the second language, your first language is Urdu, for example, but if you start learning a second language properly, you become 90% more intelligent. 90% more intelligent. Let's say, I mean, just giving you a percentage, for example, if you're 50% intelligent, and if you start learning a new language, you become 90% intelligent. The research is 100% clear on that. I mean, you can Google this, you can find, I mean, these facts from many different sources, from many different types of researches. Now, because language is important, language makes you intelligent, language helps you do your business, language helps you succeed in job, or helps you get the job, or helps you show a man of higher status, or maybe helps you pass your, let's say, metric FABA or even MA English. Started. Good. Okay, this part is very important, and this is also very interesting. Over the past many years, because I've been teaching in different institutes, I've been teaching in Minhaj University, and there is also a student online in this session from Minhaj University. And I also taught in UMT, and I also taught in Beacon House and Lahore Grammar, different schools and different institutions all of my life. I've been teaching all of my life. And with the passage of time, I was able to understand that there are only 4 types of students, only 4 types of students. 4 types of students. And these 4 types of students are basically also the basic students and the advanced students. Okay, I mean, these types of students not only show their temperament, mood, and attitude, they also show their level. The first type of student is a student of motivation. There are students in every class. I mean, in every country, in every nation, educational setup. These students, they require motivation. They require motivation. I mean, if you don't motivate them, they cannot learn anything. Okay, I mean, our job is to understand the student and try to understand how the student thinks, how his or her brain works, and how we can motivate him or her to do what he or she wants to do. So they require motivation. They don't require language. They don't require grammar. They don't require vocabulary. I mean, if you teach them vocabulary, teach them grammar, I mean, it's not going to be helpful for them because they are not motivated. They want to learn, but they are not motivated. They want to learn, but they are not motivated. They don't know how to learn. They need to see the reason. They need to have the purpose. And a language coach always, helps these guys understand the purpose. Okay, motivates them. So there are some students who lack motivation. Now, lack motivation can also be in two ways. Some students don't have motivation and they don't learn anything. There are some people who have the learning capability, but they don't have motivation. They have language capability, they have learning capability, they have time, they have resources, they have everything, but they don't have motivation. Okay. Now, the second type of students are the students who have motivation, but they want to learn only knowledge. They want to get knowledge. They have motivation. They have a lot of motivation. They want to learn everything on the planet. They want to, search through Google. They want to get every piece of information in the world. They want to get knowledge. Now, these types of students, this is the second, level of students. They just want to have knowledge. But knowledge itself is dangerous. Knowledge is a burden on your brain. These types of students, they never become successful in anything. For example, these types of students can learn grammar, they can learn tenses, they can learn all the vocabulary, but when it comes to writing, when it comes to speaking, they can't write anything, they can't speak anything. But they have knowledge about the language, they have grammar, they have vocabulary, they have reading skills, they have everything. But they are only stuck at this level. They are only stuck at this level of knowledge. Now there is third type of students. Knowledge, only knowledge, or knowledge alone is a burden on your brain. Knowledge is helpful only if you practice that knowledge. Okay. The third type of students are the students who like to practice. This is the third stage. I mean, you are motivated, you have knowledge, and now you are practicing. When you are practicing, you become intelligent. If you have knowledge, you become fool. Knowledge without practice is not helpful, is not fruitful. Knowledge, sometimes you might have heard the phrase, ठीक है, पढ़ के पागल हो गया. कौन पढ़ के पागल होता है? जो सिर्फ नॉलेज हासिल करता है. पढ़ी जाएंगे, दिमाग पे बर्डन पड़ेगा. टेंस पढ़ के बंदा पागल हो जाता है, टेंस हो जाता है. ठीक है ना? ग्रामर पढ़ के बंदा पागल हो जाता है. नॉलेज जो है, ये क्या करता है? ये आपको पागल बना देता है. जब तक के नॉलेज को क्या ना किया जाए, प्रैक्टिस ना किया जाए. ये तीसरी स्टेज है. ठीक है. जब आप प्रैक्टिस करते हैं तो आपका ब्रेन जो है वो उस नॉलेज को रिसीव कर लेता है. वो उस प्रोसेस के दौरान नॉलेज को पकड़ के उसकी प्रैक्टिस करके जो हार्ड वर्क होता है, उस हार्ड वर्क के नतीजे में योर ब्रेन बिकम्स इंटेलिजेंट. यू बिकम इंटेलिजेंट. नाउ द लास्ट स्टेज इज द क्रिएटिविटी. So there are some creative students. This is the last stage. Here, learning, here, education ends. यहाँ खत्म हो जाती है एजुकेशन. जो कि ऑब्वियसली आपको पता है, मैं आपको कोई नई बात नहीं बताने लगा, आपको पता है कि एजुकेशन डिग्री का नाम नहीं होता. ठीक है ना? डिग्री ले ली हमने तो एजुकेशन तो उसको नहीं हम कहते हैं ना. ठीक है. हम इस बात को नहीं समझते कि एजुकेशन किसको कहते हैं. एजुकेशन मीन्स बिहेवियर चेंज. बट एक ही चीज का नाम है बस. एजुकेशन एक्चुअली मीन्स बिहेवियर चेंज. Behavior change in your capabilities, change in your mindset, change in your education, change in your mental, psychological, social status. If education can bring that change, it means you are educated. If education can change your behavior, it means you are educated. If education can change your financial status, it means you are educated. If education can change your creative status, It means you are educated. If you are not creative, okay, if education is not helping you in any way, your behavior is the same. Your, for example, capabilities are the same, and you are not changing in any way, it means you are not educated. You are not educated at all. Because education means change. Education means behavior change specifically. Okay, so these four types of students are there, and a teacher never understands these four types of students. A teacher simply has a lesson to teach. He teaches the lesson, he leaves the class. That's it. The students leave the class, they go home. The teacher goes home, and that's it. The game is over. Education done. Full stop. But that's not education. The teacher is supposed to understand the students. Is my student at the motivational level, at the knowledge level, at the level of practice, or at the level of creativity? And if the student is at the level of creativity and you are motivating him, he's already motivated. He doesn't need your motivation. Maybe, for example, he has motivation, but he doesn't have knowledge. He's creative. He has a little bit knowledge, and he becomes very creative. And then your job is to start working on knowledge rather than motivation. So that's why a coach is different. A teacher's single method of teaching cannot work for everybody. A coach helps the student learn the way he wants to learn, because language is not taught, language is always learned. Okay, and teacher helps you acquire language. That's the main difference between a teacher and a coach. Coaching needs of different people. Now, in my class, when a person comes, he wants to learn to speak English, and I ask him, he doesn't say he wants to learn to speak English. He says, I want to learn English. And if I ask him, why do you want to learn English? He cannot provide me a reason. He doesn't know why he wants to learn. He doesn't know why he needs the language. He doesn't understand why he needs a language. I mean, if you want to learn English, if we want to learn a language, that different people have different needs, and we need to understand those needs. People have coaching for different needs, and most common needs are team language. Maybe, for example, you're working in a company and you need English to communicate with your coworkers, your colleagues. Your need is different. Maybe you're a salesman and you need to talk to people because you want to sell something. Your needs are different. Maybe you are a leader and you want to communicate to your team. You want to speak English in your organization and you want to deal with your team players. You are supposed to learn the leadership language, not a spoken English program. A spoken English program is not helpful in any way because everybody's need is different. Business language. Maybe you want to communicate to your customers across the globe. You need to send emails. You need to receive emails. Maybe you need language for personal reason, a personal language, because you want to show status to the people. Everybody's needs are different. If people's needs are different, then their methods of teaching or methods of learning are also different. And if you put all of these people together in one single classroom, and on top of them there is a teacher teaching them, it's never going to work. And it has never worked. And you are the proof. Many people, for example, previously I had a student from Sawat, no, Sawat, Gilgit. Yes, Gilgit, Baltistan. Yes, she was a Balti girl. She was from Baltistan. She was an MA English and she needed the language coaching. Why? Because she couldn't speak English. The university taught her, the college taught her, the school taught her, the nursery taught her, the mother taught her, but nobody became successful because her way of learning was different. Her requirements were different. Her brain was different. Her brain was not exactly like the brain I have, like the brain you have. She is not the type of person like Sonia is. She was a different person. Sonia is a different person. Ikra is a different person. Salman is a different person. Everybody is a different person. Everybody, you know, cannot be fit in one single, you know, in one single formula of teaching. So that's why language coaching is important. Now let's talk about some language coaching process. How do we go about the language coaching process? Now, you know, there are many coaches. There are coaches in cricket, there are coaches in personal development, there are coaches in different fields, and there are many different models of coaching, many models of coaching. I have created my own models of coaching. I call it a frame coaching model. It's my own personal method of coaching. I always use this method of coaching because this has helped a lot. It helps me, it helps the student, it helps both of us. And what I do with this frame model of coaching, I'll just tell you about the frame model of coaching shortly. What I do to set your goals and personalized learning plan. First of all, we always set the goals, because if we don't have goals, we have no motivation. We don't have goals, we cannot hit, we cannot know where we are going. We don't know what we are supposed to do. We do not know whether we have got what we wanted to do if we don't have goals. Without goals, there's no destination. Without goals, there's no target to hit. And teachers never talk about goals. I don't know why they don't. They should talk about goals. But every student must have goals, a personalized learning plan. As a language coach, I always set the goals. The students, me and the student, we together sit down together and we set the goals together. And what does this frame coaching model does? What does this model do? Make you autonomous and aware of learning principles. You become autonomous. You start learning on your own. You become a learning machine. You have guided learning decision in your hands, because language is in your hands. You start using language. So that's the main purpose of this frame model. Now let me tell you what the frame model of English language learning exactly is. Frame model of language learning starts with framing the conversation. We always, whenever I have a coachee, I have a student who wants to learn English or who wants language coaching, I, start working on the trust. I start working on the responsibilities. I start working on the feedback. Trust, responsibilities, and feedback are never a part of your English language class. In your schools, in your universities, in your colleges, in your academies, the teachers are not working on this. The teachers are simply teaching on the board. The time is over, they go back home. That's it. Okay, they're not working on trust. They're not working on responsibilities. They're not working on feedback. So what I do, I frame the conversation so that I can have trust and responsibilities and feedback. And then the student has some goals in his mind. But what I do, I recreate the goals. Together with the student, we recreate the goals. We create new goals. We take the old goals and then we take new goals, and then we see which goals are important for the student. We recreate the goals and then we analyze the situation. What is analyzing the situation? It means the student, for example, wants to go to the advanced level of language learning, but currently he is at the basic level of language learning. So what problems are there? What capabilities the student has? Okay. And what is the difference? What is the gap? The gap may be a big gap. It may be a small gap. Okay. So we are analyzing the situation and then we map the destination. How we map the destination? We create a plan, how he gets there, wherever he wants to go. He wants to go to the advanced level of language learning. So we map, we create a map, we create a plan. And that plan is very helpful for the student. And then E stands for empower. We empower the students. We give them tools, we give them strategies, we give them frameworks, the tools, strategies, and frameworks. And with the help of these tools, strategies, and frameworks, they start learning the language. And it's 100% successful. No student has ever failed using this system. No student. But students who are learning language in classrooms, they always fail. They fail to learn to write and speak English. They don't fail to learn grammar, vocabulary. They may learn grammar, vocabulary, but they can't learn to write and speak, because writing and speaking, these are the two ultimate skills we need. We don't need vocabulary, we don't need grammar, we don't need tenses. We need to write. correct English. We need to speak correct English. We need to speak fluent English. We need to speak efficient English. We are not supposed to learn grammar, vocabulary, tenses. We're not supposed to do that. Okay. In traditional classes, they work on these things, but a language coach works on the product, the final product, the actual thing that the other person wants to have, the actual thing. Okay, so we have come to the last stage of the lecture. So your questions, okay, and what next? Now, students, if you have any questions, you can ask me questions one by one.